At risk. This term means exposed to harm or danger. Heather Cobalt, in defining the term at-risk youth for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, described at-risk youth as adolescents who are less likely to transition successfully into adulthood and achieve economic self-sufficiency. In this video, I'm going to talk about the dangers that put youth at risk, as well as how to turn away from those dangers and have a better life and future. I'm Josiah Hall, and this is True Freedom Ministries. Good morning, bro. Let's discuss a few potential outcomes for at-risk youth. Teenage pregnancy, drug use, criminal and antisocial behavior, a low education level, unhealthy relationships, a low socioeconomic status, a shorter lifespan, mental health problems, a lower IQ, and that list just goes on and on. That is a very dismal future. I mean, would you put any of this on your Christmas wish list? Hey mom, I want a 12-year prison sentence followed by heroin addiction this year. One of the largest contributing factors to this kind of lifestyle is poverty. It's a common denominator in delinquent behavior across the board. They say that numbers don't lie, so let's take a look. Visionrealization.com states that 1 in 4 under the age of 6 live below the poverty level. Each year spent in poverty reduces the child's chance of graduating high school. Students from low income, low skill, and low education families are twice as likely to drop out of high school. About 2/3 of at-risk children experience one or more negative life outcomes. It is important to mention, however, that 1/3 of those kids are beating the odds. We all face and will continue to face difficulties in life. Off and on, I grew up well below the poverty level with no father and a drug-addicted mother. Many of those outcomes previously mentioned became my unfortunate reality. I was a drug-addicted teenage dad suffering mental health issues and constantly involving myself in criminal mischief. I was the poster child of who mothers didn't want their child to become. But I found out that my condition didn't have to determine my destiny. As we all know, life is problematic. And as I once heard, if you're not in a problem, then you're either exiting a problem or you're on the way to a problem. Job 5:7 says that man is born unto trouble as the sparks fly upward. The good news is that you don't have to allow your circumstances to force you to make decisions based on ignorance, impulse, and emotion. It's time to break the cycle, break free from those chains that hold you in bondage. Now maybe you can relate to what I've been talking about. Maybe you have people in your life that have written you off as just another number in the ever-increasing sea of negative statistics. But is that what you are? Is that what you want to be? Do you want to be a drug-addicted, pregnant teenager who dropped out of high school and now has to work at McDonald's part-time? Genesis 1:27 says that God created man in his own image. In Matthew 3:17, John the Baptist was baptizing Jesus in the Jordan River when the voice of God the Father spoke to John from heaven and said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." You see, Jesus was God in the flesh. And we were made in his image, which means Jesus was our example of how to live. So let me ask you this question. Would Jesus do what you're doing? Would he live the way you're living? Would he participate in the activities that you engage in? In Romans 8:17, Paul is writing to those who have accepted Jesus and have been born into the family of God. Here he states, "And if children, then heirs. Heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ." The definition of an heir is a person legally entitled to the property or rank of another upon that person's death. God's desire is for you to be royalty. set apart for a higher purpose and calling, just like Jesus. It may not always seem like it when you're dealing with problems, but if you're struggling, welcome to earth. Like I quoted before from Job 5:7, we are born unto trouble. What I offer you today is peace. Not peace as the world sees it, for peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God. Even the angels declared at Jesus' birth, glory to God in the highest, peace on earth, goodwill toward men. In Jeremiah 29:11, God says, for I know the thoughts I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. God's plan for your life doesn't include drugs, addiction, pregnancy, criminal activity, mental issues, etc. In 3 John 1:2, God says, I would above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. In John 10:10, Jesus says that the thief cometh not but for to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Life without God, no matter how much fun it may seem to be at the time, is without substance, value, direction, or purpose. But if you let Jesus take the wheel, you'll start on a new road that will take you over hills and through valleys, but your destination will be amazing, far beyond anything you could imagine, and every mile you've traveled will be worth it. As usual, if you've enjoyed this video and found it to be encouraging, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I release a new video. Also, don't forget to hit the like icon and give it a thumbs up. Lastly, leave a comment below and let me know if this video has spoken to you in any way. Once again, I'm Josiah Hall with True Freedom Ministries. And remember, he that the sun sets free is free indeed. Love and prayers, always.
Freedom.
I feel like you should turn this off.